timing belt, water pump, and timing belt tensioner replacement on this 1991 Acura Legend. It's been a few days since I worked on this car because I was waiting on a part. I was waiting on this gasket here for the water pump, because the water pump that I bought came with this paper gasket, and I don't think I like it. So I went ahead and found this on Rock Auto. There's the part number right there for Acura and Honda, and it says that it fits Acura Legend, which it does. It looks the same. That's the one that was on there, and this is the new one. So they look exactly the same, so it should work. All right, let's continue. I'm gonna move these things out of the way. So everything's clean here. The mating surface for the water pump is clean. We just gotta go ahead and start installing it. I'm gonna go ahead and install the gasket here to the thermostat housing. Okay, so I'm gonna install the water pump now. Hopefully we can keep this gasket from falling off. Okay, second try with the pump. With the gasket kept falling out, I put a little dabs of gasket maker for water pumps in little areas right here, here, just to kind of hold it in place. So we're gonna try it again. I'm installing all the bolts. Just hand tightening right now. Okay, so I'm gonna torque down the 9 bolts. The 9-10mm bolts are supposed to torque down to 9 foot-pounds, 12 Newton meters. That's what I got here, 12 Newton meters. Right there. So I'm gonna do those 9 first, and then the 2 12mm down here. Those torque to 22 Newton meters, 16 foot-pounds. Okay, 22 Newton meters, 16 foot-pounds. Those are the 10 millimeters. Now we're gonna set the torque range to 22 Newton meters for the other 2 bolts. That's inch pounds. Looks like 22 is right at the top. Right there. Okay, that's that. Now the 2 bolts up here where the thermostat housing is, those are also 12 millimeters. Those also torque down to 22 Newton meters, 16 inch pounds. Okay. Okay, so now that we're done with the water pump, I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the this back cover and this sprocket, but I'm not gonna tighten the bolt yet. I'm gonna wait till after the timing belt is already on there. I don't want to take the chance of turning the this camshaft while tightening the bolt, so I'm gonna wait for after the timing belt is already on there. See, as you can see, I don't know if you can see here, but right behind here is the last water pump bolt right there, right behind the cover. So you have to remove this cover before you replace the water pump in order to get to that bolt. So it's 1 bolt there, another one here. It's actually 3 bolts that hold this cover, but that 3rd one down there just snapped off when I was losing it. So I'm just gonna put those 2 back on. It'll be fine, no big deal. It's just holding the cover in place, that's all it's doing. There we go. That's 2. I'm gonna remove these 3 bolts from the camshaft here. Install the sprocket, and it only goes in one way. See the pin right there? There's a hole right here, Just gotta line it up with the hole. There, put your 3 bolts on there. Guess I'm gonna wait till I have the timing belt on there before I tighten these 3 bolts. Hopefully I won't forget. Oh, that would be a bad day if I forget to tighten them. I'm replacing the 3 hoses down here. I already did that one. I'm replacing all three of them because they're old and I'm already there, so I might as well just replace them. You know, you're not gonna be able to find this at the auto parts. So basically I went to O'Reilly's, they gave me this, they sold me this piece which is the same. I just gotta cut them and pretty much force them in there. They're not gonna be the right shape, but as long as they're not kinked, they'll be fine. You see how badly worn out these ones are. Look when I squeeze them. See that? There's like 3 holes there and some cracks. So okay, here we go. One of them's gonna go in real easy. The other one's the one's gonna have a hard time. I'm gonna have to bend it. So okay, so I finished replacing those 3 hoses right there. I had to do a little bit of cutting on this too, just to make sure they fit properly without them being bent right here, kinked. That's pretty good right there. It'll get some good cooling flow, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, so next we're gonna put the timing belt on there. First we're gonna start at the crankshaft pulley, then around the tensioner, then we come up to the sprocket here, keeping tension on it. Should keep it tight. Okay. I'm gonna put one of these clamps on this sprocket here to hold the timing belt so it doesn't come off. Then around the water pump, up, okay, so right now we're just turning the engine about 5 or 6 times to make sure that the all the timing marks line up. I already turned it 3 times. That's 4. And 5. You may not be able to see it, but that one's lined up. that one's lined up. And that one's lined up. So next step is to turn this sprocket about 9 teeth, and the crank pulley is supposed to line up with the blue mark here, and then I'm supposed to loosen the tensioner bolt about 180 degrees and then retighten it and torquing it to 31 foot-pounds, and that's supposed to apply the right amount of tension to the timing belt. So that's what I'm going to do next. That's my blue mark right there. It's lined up. I count the teeth just to see if it's accurate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm gonna loosen it up. There. I'm gonna retorque it to 31 foot-pounds. Right there. That feels good. Okay, so I thought I was recording the whole time when I was installing the lower and upper timing belt covers, but apparently my phone, because it's sunny on this side, the sun was hitting the screen and it overheated and deleted the couple videos that I already recorded. But you didn't miss out on too much. So basically I'll just install the lower timing belt cover, both upper timing belt covers. I was about to install the oil dipstick tube. Just real quick on this upper cover here, the last bolt, you have to go through under the alternator bracket. That's where the last bolt goes. So I also already plugged in my oil cooler sensor wire right there. It's plugged in. I still gotta do all the accessory belts thing. These two 10mm right here, they hold the wiring harness down. They hold the not the fuel rail, but this pipe right here, the tube, and they also hold the tubes that connect to the vacuum hoses. Loosen them up and you can move this up and down, get out of the way a little bit. Makes it easier to install this upper cover here. So okay, so I already torqued the crank pulley bolt. It's supposed to be 174 foot-pounds. My torque wrench only goes to 150. So I went ahead and gave it a little extra with the breaker bar. But that's my setup right there to tighten it. There's the tool on there. You got the breaker bar resting on that piece of the frame right there to keep it from moving. So I'm gonna install the throttle body real quick. This is a new gasket for the throttle body from Pro. Okay, so those 4 bolts I tightened down now. I didn't torque them because I don't know the torque specs for it, but just don't over tighten them. Just snug them up and they should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook up my vacuum hoses here. Okay, that's done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this harness back over here where it goes. And then your O2 sensor goes in this bracket like this. Clips on there. Then you plug it in. Come on now, clip. Okay, so pretty much all that is left to do is putting on the belts, the battery, the intake tube, spark plugs, and the of course add coolant to it, and then we're gonna start it up and see how that goes. Just remember, when you put in the belts back together, the first one that you need to put back on first is the power steering belt. Like, put initials on it. Power steering, AC belt, and then the last one should be your alternator belt.
I do.
This is that one. I just need to tighten out the bolts and add tension to them. So that stud right here is the one that you gotta turn to add tension to the belt. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay, that's good right there. After you got the desired tension on it, just tighten up the two, I think they're 14mm, one here and one down here. Okay, my bad. This one up here is a 12, the one down there is a 14. Okay, so I'm about to install the AC belt. It's already in place there. I just gotta put the pulley to add tension to it. Okay, we don't tighten that one down yet. We gotta put the belt on there and add tension to it before we can tighten that nut down. Alright, now we gotta add tension to it. This is a 10mm right there. And what it's doing is, when I'm turning the bolt, this pulley is actually coming up, slowly coming up, adding tension to the belt. Let me see if I can get the phone down there real quick to show you, so you can see. I don't know how well you can see it, but see, now the belt's got some tension to it. Put a little bit more. Okay, so I'm doing the alternator belt now.
Look, Dad. Look at this. Look at this I got.
This is a 6mm. Apparently I had it upside down for some reason. I had this end up here and this end down there. It's supposed to go like this. As you see this little washer looking thing here, this head right here, supposed to rest up against this bracket. That way when you tighten it, it applies tension to the belt. Almost there.
Can you put me up a new cow? I can't.
Okay, so now that the belt is tensioned, we can go ahead and tighten this bolt. It's a 12mm. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put everything back on the intake tube, spark plugs, and add coolant to the radiator and bleed the air out of the cooling system.
To yourself.
Okay, we're about to start it up, see if she starts. Oh yeah! Turn on the heater to full blast. I'm gonna start adding coolant to it. So I kind of screwed up a little bit here when I put this thermostat housing onto the water pump, the gasket that goes there. Apparently, when I went and put this together, the gasket kind of rolled off, and I tightened it down and I didn't notice it rolled off to the side, to the back. So guys, guess what? I'm having to redo the water pump again, because when I went to bolt it onto the water pump, apparently the gasket fell out of place because I didn't use gasket maker RTV to hold it in place. And this is what happened to it. It fell out of place. When I bolted down, it got pinched and cut off completely. Let's see if we can look it under there. I can't see anything, but I don't know if you guys can see it. But anyways, these are some of the pieces of the gasket. So I took it back apart. Didn't take me very long, and I'm gonna put another gasket in there, and that won't happen again. So that was my mistake. Don't make that mistake. So there you have it. I'm redoing the timing belt and water pump again. So yeah, there's a little piece here, another little big chunk over here.
That How do you know on the screen?